Maybe Christ is calling you today to start a new life in Him. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. For today's episode, I thought we could talk a little bit about the new life in Christ. I feel like so many of us have heard or seen someone talk about how their life has been completely transformed by Christ, how after they stumbled upon His goodness, their life has never been the same and it is completely changed. And I think that many of us have different reactions when we hear or see things like this. Maybe you're that type of person who says, oh, good for them, another one for the kingdom of heaven, and you're happy for them. Or maybe you recognize that you too should probably start a new life in Christ, but then you try and convince yourself you already have, and thus you are in a state of denial. Or maybe, just maybe, you have the guts to recognize that you too need to start a new life in Christ, and you decide you are motivated to do the same. I think that in every situation that we are placed in everything we go through in our life, there is an answer to it in the Bible. Though the Bible is a pretty big book, so finding it might be kind of hard. Lucky for me, lucky for you, the title of this video happens to be in my Bible, and it's in Ephesians chapter 4. In Ephesians chapter 4 in my Bible, there are two different parts to it. It says the unity of the body, which is the first part, and the new life in Christ, being the title of this video and the end part of Ephesians chapter 4. So I thought we could read together Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22 through 24, and really talk about the new life in Christ. Verse 22 says, "So get rid of your old self, which made you live as you used to, the old self that was being destroyed by its deceitful desires." First of all, we have to get rid of it. We cannot hold on to it. We cannot preserve it anywhere, but we have to get rid of it. And secondly, it's already destroying itself, so might as well. Now, verse 23 says, "Your hearts and minds must be made completely new." Just as you have to get rid of your old self, you have to make your mind and your heart completely new. Not partially new, not half new, but completely new. And verse 24 kind of wraps that up by saying, "And you must put on the new self, which is created in God's likeness and reveals itself in true life that is upright and holy." It's not only is it urging us to telling us that we have to put on this new self, but it's also giving us reasons to. It says, which is created in God's likeness. If that is not good enough, if that reason is not good enough to put on the new self, it also tells us that it reveals itself in the true life that is upright and holy. Upright and holy, isn't that like the two things that everyone should be striving for? Isn't that what we're trying to obtain in our life? I feel like the entirety of the Bible have different parts of it where it talks about living an upright and holy life and how to do that. But Ephesians chapter 4, the rest of the chapter talks about how you can obtain this new life and tells you how to live in this new life. It's quite long, so I thought I could just give you a little summary. We ended off with verse 24, and the very next verse jumps in by telling us what we should not be doing. Verse 25 tells us no more lying then, that we have to stop embracing this falsehood and start embracing the truth with one another. Verse 26 tells us that we cannot let our anger lead us to sin. Verse 28 tells us that we have to stop robbing and we have to start working to earn an honest living. Verse 29 says that we have to stop using harmful words, words that harm others, but rather we have to start using words that are helpful to others. Verse 31 continues this by telling us that we have to, we can't start shouting at people, and we have to stop insulting others, but rather bringing people up, and that we have to get rid of all bitterness, passion, and anger. And that it tells us to replace these things with kindness and tenderheartedness to one another. And the last bit of the chapter 4 says, "And forgive one another as God has forgiven you through Christ." Now that we've read a little bit about the new life in Christ, the question still remains. Will you choose to go through with your own life the way you've been, or will you choose to continue in living this new life and start living this new life and putting on your new self as the Bible tells you to? Will you give God a chance to transform your life? I hope the answer is yes, because if so, then we can both continue to try and strive for uprightness and holiness as we live this new life. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to comment down below what you think. Until next time, let's all continue to share the good news. Bye!